All right, y'all, let's get into a parable of cannabis and such, because that connects us to that tree of life with over 25,000 uses. It connects us to the tree of knowledge of good and evil. It connects us to that tree that's placed in heaven for the new heaven and earth, for the river on two sides, and it's there for the healing of nations and these types of things. So we can heal these children today with cannabis, and it helps brain injuries and different things like this. One of the things that helped me in my wrecks in life, like literal wreck when I had my accident and different things, but the only way I made it through was with cannabis, and that's the only way I was able to sleep and whatever kind of thing. But it's there for brain inflammation. So everybody has these brainwashing going on. They have brain inflammation going on in a spiritual sense. And cannabis helps go within and helps break these foundations. And a lot of people don't like this, and this is why they can't use this, okay? And you have to get past all these things, and once you make it past these things, then it's your option to how you use the plant, okay? Now, I understand the church has been brainwashed the most on this. And it tells you in your own book about this plant, and you can use it because it's a seed-bearing plant, and we can use all seed-bearing plants. And the stone for a pillow, that's what that is. And the Most High Jesus, he used the cannabis. And the sheep, the beast, the prey, these things, they can't smoke. So they can't do the smoking of any type of thing, or they look down on it because it's the carnal Jew. They don't understand that God is us and we can live in the clouds if we want. All right. So we can either live in the clouds physically, blowing them out, or we can live in the clouds like daydreaming. Because we learn daydreaming in school. That's how you realize, like, why the hell am I here 8 hours a day? Because my mom and dad and the government tell me. These are like things that was going on in my head in like high school and stuff, staring out the window and drawing in art class and shit. Like, anyways, it's just we need teachers, but not that type of teacher. We need like real life teaching. This is where like homeschool kids are actually more social than your kids being taken to school, because school teaches like a fucked up socialization. And that's why you got groups and cliques, and then it starts division, and then you got your division in your workspace, you got your division at your churches. Divide, and conquer. So the cannabis plant, it's a plant that you can grow in 24-hour veg. You can never fruit it. Okay, and that's kind of what's going on in our world today, where all these people are given this light, this artificial light, and it's always on. And since it's always on, they're growing up super fast. They're a tall and mighty tree. They're a tall and mighty plant in the garden, but they don't have no fucking fruit. It's what they got going on in our cities today. They got all these big ass trees, but there's no fucking fruit on them. Why are we planting trees in the cities where everyone lives and not planting fruit trees in every fucking yard? If you plant a fruit tree on every yard, every year, The whole neighborhood eats for free. Do you understand how fucked up the system is? And the front yard is your classic brainwashing shit they got on you. And it's the classic bell worship too. His grass is over 12 inch. I'm gonna call so he gets a ticket. Or they just drive by. It's a fucking drive-by ticket. Because you don't mow your grass in fucking time. What fucking world is this? It's a fucking 24-hour veg world. It's a fucking vegetable world. You gotta keep it a fucking vegetable so the sheep come back and fucking eat it. And eat it. And eat it. And eat it. And eat it. Bad. 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 Everything is bad. Bad. I can't live my life. I can't live my life. What do I do? How do I repent? How do I turn? So dumb and go more. Oh, the grievous sin. You got to look at the sin, the moon, to have fruit. If the sun stays at you live in that 24-hour veg state, there's no fucking fruit. The moon comes out, the sun has to go dark or go over that horizon. The horizon, that Joe rising, the H is the end, that Joe's right here, the Joe rise sun, that son of man, that dawn of time for his second coming, the Lord. So, you got these sheep coming back. It's 24-hour veg phase. You got to look at the sun, you got to turn your back to the sun, that light that's being provided. You got to turn your back to that 24-hour light. You got to go into your own darkness, which means you might have to leave that room, because sometimes that 24-hour veg room, you're just in there, and then your owner, your own ear takes you from one room to the other room and puts you in that bloom phase. Or if it wants you to start growing up and get ready for that 12 hours. So as we get ready for that 12 hours, we can go back to that 18-hour cycle, or that 16-hour cycle, or that 12-hour cycle, all right? So these are tying into to where at age 12 or age 16 or age 18, right? Kind of works in a backwards fashion, but we're exposed to this darkness in different ways. And depending on this darkness, the seeds grow. And we can either turn our back to this light and turn and look at the moon and turn and look at the sin and the moon are that same so-called God. So as we turn our leaves and such to the moon and get the darkness, it gives fruit in our lives. And as it gives fruit in our lives, these veg plants, they're in another room. So if they're in another room or in another garden or another light or whatever, spiritually speaking, they're not going to understand the bloom room. They're not going to understand that darkness in this person's life, so-called, but it's not darkness, okay? Because the bloom room is where we get the fruit. We got to have the darkness in our lives to get the fruit in our lives, okay? But some of us, that darkness overwhelms us and keeps us in there. And this is where we're born again and born again and born again and born again. We're given this life over and over and over again so the light inside of us can test this world. In this earth, God uses man and this light through us to test this world, to work with this world, to take care of this world. And this is where we've been shown through the God, through the Lord, and through Satan, all these different things. It's a test of men and all these different lights. And the sons of God are it's within us, so we take this light and we are working with it and all these other things. But this is where we're testing all men and gathering this oil and getting it in the lampstand, because we're where that light projects. So as we go into darkness and start producing fruit, okay, then you have to pick the fruit, and then you have to consume the fruit, or you have to dry the fruit, and you have to put the cure in it, and all those other things. But all these are just things for our lives as far as looking back, because we're given the darkness, we eat the fruit, we sometimes go back to sleep after the fruit and never wake again. And that would be where these people start these 12-step programs. I gotta go to my addiction counseling or whatever kind of thing. All right, y'all are you going from one addiction to another addiction. We're human beings. We are God. We like to enjoy things in our life. Okay, so this world wants to make you think you got addictions when it's just being human. They want to demonize every thing about your five senses and make you not enjoy anything about yourself. So people who are always in the so-called light, which is actually the dark, because you're not getting anything from it. And the thing we do with the veg phase is create the clones. That's where the clones come from. And the clones, they are the ones who give the fruit and give the pleasure, or they're the ones who produce over and over again, and they are also the workers. So we have two types of clones and such. All right, so a woman is a clone because she clones human beings in a way. She has birth, and she clones mom and dad, and the marriage of two become one in a way. All right, so, and then the man is the clone because we're the robot. We got to go to work every day. It's all fucked up. When we're working half the time to eat, but the city is making laws where we can't grow fucking trees that grow fruit, or we can't plant a garden in the front yard, or whatever's going on. The cannabis is used all throughout the Bible. Okay, and Jesus was the Most High, and y'all been brainwashed over decades where you're just, oh, no. What did he say? What did he say? Nah, it's bad. You can't understand it because you think a stone is an actual stone. And oh man. Either way, so you gotta look at the moon to get some fruit. You gotta go into the darkness to get some fruit. You gotta do things against this world sometimes to get some fruit. Basic end of the story. All right, so the garden is a great tool to learn, and we can look at the earthly things and we can know the heavenly things, but how can we teach the heavenly if you can't understand the earthly?